Hey there, everybody. It's your friend, your ally, the ever-loving Levite Lost, coming at you once again. And this time we're looking at a back issue. We're looking at Moon Knight number 11. Just gonna kind of take a look through the pages, see what we think here. First things first, I'm 50-50 here on the cover. I like the idea behind it, where you kind of have this cross-section here. It's cutting back and forth between the main character and his civilian identity and his superhero identity. I like that bit. That being said, it lacks something. It's not as dynamic as it could possibly be. I mean, look here, you got this gray background and then muted colors. One person's in white, the most muted color probably. Well, no, this is pretty vibrant white, but still. If you had a more dynamic cover, I think, maybe an action pose or something like that, something I could really sink my teeth into as an audience member, say, because, you know, you're looking through your comic book store on the shelves and everything. This isn't really going to jump out at you. It makes sense for the story and everything if you know Moon Knight, how his personalities are split. He is schizophrenic. If you know that, then this makes perfect sense. But it's not eye-catching. It's not as eye-catching as it could be for an action suspense book, as it is. So, flip it inside. Credits. Alright, this opening page, I have a problem with the opening page. It goes back to this. It's not as it's not as grabbing as it could possibly be. I mean, the first panel here is a man staring out a window and looking backwards. You know, you really could play into the more actiony aspects of this issue here, at least on the first page. What I would have done is use up this page, move all this stuff over here, and then use up this first page. The first thing people are going to see when they open the book. Have it be a big splash page, an action shot of Moon Knight. Because later on in the book, he's fighting some Egyptian-type dudes. And then here at the end, there's a flashback to his days when he was in the Marines. And he's in the middle of this sort of underground fight club. You could have taken an image of either of those two things. Well, for one, put it on the cover, maybe. But certainly have put a big splash page of either of those two instances on the cover, and then you could have moved over to this, and people would have understood that the two things weren't happening at the same time. Old comic books used to do this quite regularly. I remember several Fantastic Four comics where, you know, it'd be this big grand splash page of, say, the Thing punching Namor in the fist, not in the fist, but on the face, while the rest of Fantastic Four kind of stood off in the background, just shocked or fighting minions or something. And then the story, you turn the page and the story would jump back maybe a few days, maybe just a few hours. And then you kind of build up to that moment towards the end. But anyways, I gotta say though, there's a couple things I want to address. I'm 50-50 as well on the panel layout for this. Because you got some things like this, very boring sort of panel layout. And then you have some stuff that's a bit more dynamic. There's this one, yeah, I want to get here. You got stuff like this going on, very interesting. They're using a lot of empty space, a bunch of negative space, I want to say, in order to highlight the different panels. And this thing here, where they're using the triangles and stuff, and these pages, two pages sort of tend to mirror each other. Like you got a triangle, 1, 2, 3. You got this page, 1, 2, 3, triangle again. I like that aspect of it. I also like the color. The colors in this space scene, this battle, are very good. I like it. I like it very well. Even in these more mundane scenes, like this opening scene of the funeral, the colors are used to very good effect. Because you'll notice that the main character, I'm blanking on his name right now, but yeah, Moon Knight. You notice, like, he's always in white, and it's always played off to contrast against everyone else in the shot. Because you look, alright, everyone at this funeral is wearing black, because it's a funeral. Everyone's wearing black, but you notice he has all this white going on, highlighting, kind of framing up his face on top and bottom, so you concentrate on him. And then you move into this apartment scene. Everyone's in black. And then he's in white, contrast against the person in black he's sitting next to. But also, this image of his father is framed in white. So you pay attention to the picture in the frame, and you also pay attention to him. Your eyes kind of move left to right in that fashion. That's good coloring. The person's thinking about what they're trying to accomplish when it comes to the coloring, and that's always a good thing. They get points for that, if whatever sort of game show this is. That being said, story-wise, I wasn't grabbed by the story. It starts off, the main character's in a mental asylum because he is schizophrenic, and he's being taken to his father's funeral. And what's the thing for falling out of funerals? Is it called a reception? I'm sure. Following that, he ditches in order to go play Moon Knight stuff, and that's where he gets in the fight with the Egyptians, I presume. And then it moves on to this flashback where he's in the Marines, and they're kicking him out because he's schizophrenic, and then he just kind of bails when they're transporting him back home. Kind of goes AWOL on them. Anyways, it's one of those things, like, it's, let's go back here. Part 2 of 5. I'm not really big into this whole writing for the trades thing, making a 5-issue miniseries out of a thing. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think it happens too much, and it's just, like I say, things move a bit too slowly. I mean, this fight scene is really cool and all, I like it, but the whole issue just moves too slowly to be really worth your time and effort to read it. So that being said, I kind of enjoyed it, kind of didn't. There was some good and some bad. Maybe you can learn from this. But all in all, I wouldn't pick this one up out of the back issue bin if I were you. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. So I'll talk to you next time here on The Levite Lost.